I'm going to show you the biggest subconscious block that's not allowing money to stay with you, even if you're doing everything right. I've used this methodology to make conscious entrepreneurs millions of dollars in their business from peace instead of fear. I'm also not only going to name the block, I'm going to give you a practice that you can start rewiring it from tomorrow. And I call this the guilt principle. Let's go straight into it and how to solve it. The first step is understanding there's two voices and one is lying. I call this the contrast between human programming versus God's nature. So very simply, human programming will always tell you that wanting more makes you greedy, that humble people don't need much, that who are you to ask for more? Even if you're successful and you want more wealth, more impact, you might have this voice that tells you, who are you to ask for more? You already have more than enough. And your true nature on the other side, God's nature, says that you are meant to not only desire but express the highest level of wealth and money in your business simply because of who you are. It's a natural extension. That's a word that I want to make sure that you understand. It's natural. It's your nature to desire greater wealth. Receiving is your nature. Abundance is your nature. So the ego on this side makes you believe that being humble, that having humility is to stay small and to not ask for more. But that's the trap itself. That's what the guilt principle is all about. And so there's three phases of guilt. I'm going to explain them to you now that you understand the different programmings. So guilt shows up as underpricing, over-delivering, and never asking for more. And when you have a desire to ask for more, you suppress it. You trim it down so that you don't rock the boat, so that you don't make other people uncomfortable, because you could be so much wealthier and successful and your business could be 5 to 10xing, but maybe it would make other people uncomfortable, your family, your friends, society, right? So you have to really step into your light. It's crazy. As conscious entrepreneurs, I've lived this myself. I've burned myself out so much by underpricing, charging less than I am worth. I'm going to show you in the next step how that all comes from an old identity. But we underprice, we undervalue ourselves to the point where we don't even give recognition for our achievements. And so we stay small. The only requirement for you to expand is to believe that you are the best at what you do in your industry, in your service, with your clients. You need to believe it in order to see it. But guilt says otherwise. It says, no, don't do it. Stay small. Be accessible. Serve everyone. Make it lower priced. And that's a trap that I didn't discover for many years. I want you to skip that pain and understand that you get to choose who you work with. You can choose bigger and better clients, that you give them results easier, that they make a bigger impact, and that you get to charge more for your services because you're creating a win-win scenario. Number two, second phase of guilt, over-delivering. Over-delivering comes from a belief that you're not good enough as you are. Therefore, you need to overgive, you need to sacrifice yourself, you need to people please in order to make up for that. You believe you have to do that. So you're over-delivering with clients, with your team, with your business, and no wonder why you're so exhausted and depleted and business feels like it's draining you. It's because you're giving too much. That is not service. That's service to your ego, service to guilt, not service to others. To change this overgiving pattern, you have to realize and embody this truth. Your being alone, your presence is enough. You are enough. Every word you say is enough. You don't have to overcompensate. Start to remember this. Let your nervous system right now drop into this safety, into this truth, into this presence, that you don't need to overgive, to struggle, to sacrifice. You can be you. And when you are you, you actually make a deeper impact for your clients. You actually serve your clients on a deeper level because you go and transcend strategy. You go and transcend coaching and you go straight into presence. Your clients feel you. And that is the presence that they need. Because from that presence, your leadership, your unshakable confidence, that's where it's from. It's not from how much you know, how much you do. Is what is your degree of presence in this moment. So give yourself that gift for you and your clients to be more present, so you can finally identify and become aware of how guilt is showing up in your behaviors. Now, phase number 3 of guilt: never asking, always wanting to do things on your own. Stop this madness. Ask for more. Ask because you're worthy of it. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened up to you. This is a universal, natural law of the universe. What does the law says? It says you need to ask first. Ask and you shall receive. If you haven't been receiving as much abundance, wealth that you know that you deserve, perhaps it's because you're not asking enough. You're not commanding enough. How do you start asking God and the universe? You don't say it through spoken word and prayer, because there's millions of people uttering these words without getting any results. You don't ask with your words, you ask with your feeling. Ask with a feeling of having received the thing that you desire, and the thing that you desire will chase you. That's why there's another scripture that says, pray believing that you already have received and you will have received it. So ask for more by feeling yourself to be more than who you are. Start to expand the way in which you define yourself, and you'll see how wealth will start chasing you. Now that you understand the 3 phases of guilt and how it shows up, I want you to take a moment and reflect upon your own life. How is this showing up in my life and in my business? Because it all starts with these 4 levels of your identity. Let me explain them to you so that you know how it works. The deepest level of change for any human is their identity. Their identity is the greatest need for human beings. It is to be in congruency with their identity, even if that is suffering, painful, and limiting. So you need to shift from your identity so that you can shift your emotions, your behaviors, and your ceilings. This is the basis of the True Self method that I mentioned earlier. The reason I've been able to help entrepreneurs make millions of dollars from peace is not because of more strategy and tactics, it's because I'm able to help them shift their core beliefs and identities, and naturally that allows their emotions, their behaviors, and their business ceiling to expand and break through. So if you have a core belief and identity where I'm not worthy enough to ask for more, that means that you don't deserve more. That's not humility. If you don't deserve more, then the emotional frequency that you are emitting to the universe is guilt when you receive. When you receive with guilt, you will find a way to sabotage that greater wealth or that greater level, because again, you don't feel worthy of deserving more. And in that moment, when you feel guilt and you let it overtake you, and you feel more and more guilty, more and more stress, you're asking for God. You're asking God and the universe to give you situations, places, and things that will make you feel more guilty. Remember, the way that you ask for anything is the way that you feel about a thing. So you're asking for more guilt from the universe by feeling guilty. So you need to break free. Again, take it back to presence so you can identify your behaviors. Are you undercharging? Are you overgiving? Are you burning out? Are you serving other people before you serve yourself? All of these are patterns of self-destruction that only lead to self-destruction. If they were based on patterns of truth, of integrity, and on the natural law of your being, they would not destroy you, they would expand you. Always start with this application in your behaviors. Is this behavior a behavior that is destructive? Is it taking away life force from me? Or is it giving me? Is it expanding me? That's how you run your business in the new way. And that will lead you to revenue and your results. What I've seen from multi 6 to 8 figure entrepreneurs is that once they have the strategy dialed in, they have client results, they have the systems in place, they've mastered that game, but they haven't mastered themselves. They haven't mastered the systems that run their entire reality. This is the internal system that you're seeing right now. So master the core belief, the identity, and you will shatter your revenue ceilings, your impact ceilings, and business will feel amazing, expansive, and from impact, because you're now leading from that identity. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your identity and your habits. So remember that. Now that you understand the mechanism and the structure of how your internal reality creates your external results in your business, I want to share a beautiful story to shatter this guilt, because you might still have some doubts. You're like, I get this, but I was raised with this belief that greater wealth, it's selfish, it's not greedy, X, Y, and Z. And by the way, if you're finding it hard to identify your own invisible patterns or blocks, I've made something that can really help you. Check the link below so that you can book a one-to-one session with me. And what I'll help you do is not only identify this, but clear it from your subconscious wiring. This is the same methodology I mentioned before, and it's great, deep, and profound breakthroughs. Check it out. Now, coming back to this is the moment of my own realization. I grew up with a lot of guilt about asking for more, about being wealthy, and I wanted to understand God's nature. If I could understand God's nature, that would mean that I would understand my own nature. So does God feel guilty about more wealth, about being abundant? The answer is no, because God is one with abundance. God is one with expansion. God's nature is expansion. Your nature and the nature of all creation is expansion. How could you reject that desire, that natural desire for more expansion, for more wealth in you? That would mean that you're rejecting God's love. You shouldn't do that, because then you're rejecting your own love and your own natural birthright. And one day I was reading his incredible book. It's called The I Am Discourses, and it tells some beautiful stories about great ascended masters that are the same as us. They're just operating from a frequency of more connection and expression of the one true nature of God. And whenever the author would describe their meetings, like when they would meet on mountains or organize plans, these ascended masters, the ambassadors of God, would show up with diamonds, with rubies, with incredible golden clothes, fully opulent. And that made me realize, I was like, wow, if that's the way of God, if that's the natural way of expressing things, why should I feel guilty about expressing this, about desiring a greater house, a greater business, an amazing watch, to dress up elegantly, to show and shine that light and be, unapologetic about it? That's natural, that's good, that's not ego. Ego is the guilt, the smallness that keeps telling you, you shouldn't be doing that. You're going to make other people reject you. And so that's something that I want you to really take in and contemplate over these next 5, 7, 10 days. Being conscious, being an entrepreneur, you're not meant to be humble in that way. That's how you are a good person, right? But a good person is not really a good person. That's a mask for your ego. So you need to start breaking free and understanding that it's natural for you to be so opulent. Now that you understand how to start expressing your true nature, that's the real goodness, is to express God's nature. That's the difference between good and God. Good is the human programming, God is your true nature. So start accepting that, start loving that, start daring yourself to claim that as your own, as one with that. And that's how you start shifting again your identity. I deserve more because I am. Because I understand I have a direct lineage. I understand that I am a prince or princess of love, of good, of opulence. That is your true programming, your true nature. And so now that you understand this, how do we start shifting this? Because you can't think your way out. That's 5% of your conscious mind. So you can strategize all you want. You can do affirmations. You can hire business coaches. You can spend $50,000, $100,000 and still struggle because you're not addressing the 95% that matters, which is your subconscious mind. You have to feel your way to heal it. You have to feel your way in a higher intensity. You have to feel wealth to know wealth. And as you do that, you override the old programming of guilt that is running as a software in your subconscious mind. Okay? So your nervous system runs on logic. Your nervous system is your body is your subconscious mind. It's all the same thing. So for years, your body has been conditioned to associate receiving more with danger, judgment, or loss of identity. That's what for you means to be a good person. I want you to shatter and dissolve that old identity, because that identity creates this feeling where familiar is safe even when familiar is small. And you are not here to play small. You're here to go big. You're meant to create an insane impact, and you have to fully own that and step into your light. Because the truth is that when you step into your light, you will inspire the right people to follow your path. And that's real impact. So the 1 minute daily practice I want you to start applying is to sit down after you shower, say a few times the words I am. As you say and feel I am multiple times with your eyes closed, you start rising above the conditioning of your ego, of guilt, and of shame. As you rise out of that, you remove and reduce the resistance of the ego, and you have a blank canvas like a painter. And you ask yourself this question with sincerity, and you're not going to answer it with a thought, you're going to answer it with a feeling. How does it feel in my body to receive more wealth and more money without guilt? How does it feel right now to receive that, to be the container that is able to hold success and peace at the same time? How does it actually feel to be that now, and start to feel more and more joyous for that? And as you do that, you're training your subconscious and your nervous system to create a new identity, which will create a new reality. Make sure that you're consistent with it. This could be your most important practice, okay? Don't take it for granted. Apply it, live it, and see the results for yourself. Because once you clear this guilt, once you start training your body of how it feels to receive greater wealth, then in your body, receiving feels as natural as breathing. You stop bracing for things to go wrong. You stop self-sabotaging, and you are able to hold things with presence. In your business, you raise your prices, you launch the offers, you show up more authentically in your content and in your coaching sessions. So people say yes. You ask for more and it arrives. You give from overflow, you create deeper transformations, and your entire business experiences an exponential growth in both impact and income. And in your identity, wealth doesn't feel like something like you chase anymore. It feels like something that recognizes you. How would life feel like if you knew that wealth is meant to follow you everywhere you go? What if you gave yourself permission to dream, to imagine, to feel the truth that wealth is always meant to be chasing you? Because money is not waiting for your strategy to improve, it's waiting for your identity to expand. So here's the full, complete system for you to claim it. Number one, name the program that guilt is not humility, that overgiving is not humility. Name it. Become aware of it until you make the unconscious conscious. It will direct your life and you will call it faith. So stop doing that. Number two, find where it lives. Not only in your body, where does it live in your body? You have to be present with that feeling. And then where it lives in your business. Find that and tweak that. This is literally the step-by-step work that I do with clients. Like if you were to hire me, I would give you these exact steps. And now you have them. So where it lives in your business, and this is the hardest part for people, taking the action to integrate these new truths, because it feels so uncomfortable to have that client conversation, to take responsibility, to stop overgiving, because it will feel like your ego wants to throw a tantrum so messed up that you might want to collapse or burn out or anything like that. So don't give it that win. Be rooted in presence. Number three, recognize it as an identity. Who am I being right now? Am I doing this? Does this lead to a self-destructive pattern or to expansion? Because expansion is my nature. Therefore, I will go towards expansion. Number four, teach your body the truth, the daily feeling practice that I gave you. And as you do these 4 steps as clockwork, you will finally clear guilt, and money won't just come to you. It will chase you. Now, before you go, if this landed for you and you know there's an invisible block that you want to clear, but you don't know how, click the link below to book a session with me and I'll help you clear it and give you a game plan to execute in your business so you can blow up your revenue, your impact, and doing it from a place of peace. It takes 60 seconds. This could be something that's a game changer for you, because we'll finally start rewiring the 95% that was invisible. Apart from that, have an amazing day. It's been a pleasure. Go and crush it. Much love.